Let's talk about what's going on in Southeast Nigeria. I'm going to make it clear as much as possible for everybody to understand what's going on in this video and for you to make it viral and spread it all across the internet to Nigerians. Nigerians abroad are very, very important as well. There has been a wave of buying all over Southeast Nigeria. People are being buyed left, right, and center. 4 years ago, I told you about some plans and orchestrated methods to buy Southeast Nigerians, specifically the Igbos, and no one believed me. 4 years later, you're now believing me after they wiped out a lot of people in Ebonyi State, Enugu State, and so on and so forth. Yesterday, a farmer was spied on his farm after harvesting yam, cassava, and cocoyam and everything. At the end of the day, if one farmer is spied in America, do you know what's going to happen? 3 farmers spied, several injured. That's the headline of the Nigerian media. And you should know by now that the Nigerian media is owned by politicians and businessmen. There are people who are strategically placed in Igbo land to buy Igbos. Okay, it's a new method of what happened during the Biafran War. The people that orchestrated the Biafran War are still alive. And they've led Nigeria. General Gowon is alive. General Obasanjo is alive. General Buhari is alive. Everybody in that war, many of the strategic people are alive. And they've led Nigeria again and again. And they're watching this happen. This is the Biafra War again, secretly. But all the killings that have been going on in the metropolitan areas of Igbo land, they stick it to IPOB. They stick it to Masab. They stick it to ESN. They stick it to all the Nnamdi Kanu groups. And they feel that we don't know what's going on. People know what's going on. They're not going to talk. The media is the wrong person to even go meet. The Nigerian media is the worst in the world. I don't know if I'm the first to say it. Maybe other people have said it. Not because they're just owned by the politicians and businessmen. And the journalists in there are puppets to these people. They're puppets. They can't do anything unless they do what they are told. They know the truth in what I am talking about, and they're not going to tell the ordinary Nigerians. The DSS. You are supposed to be the Homeland Security for Nigeria. Checking the homeland. People are being buyed left, right, and center in Nigeria. North, south, east, west. The defense headquarters. Always shouting on Twitter. Always shouting on X. No action. We cannot have a defense headquarters and a military not doing enough for Nigerians. Nigerians are getting bite every day. And this has to stop. The international community gives you money to fight all this insecurity. But what do? You share it amongst yourself. We've seen that with Jonathan's administration and others. Nigerian governors are sponsoring terrorism. They're financing terrorism. And all you could do is go arrest one Simon Ekpa in, Finland? Somebody that's just doing his internet propaganda. That's all you can do. That's the best you can do. At least he's given some awareness to what's going on. Everybody has their own groups. My message today is about what happened yesterday. All right? What happened yesterday in Enugu? In some of the communities, there was violence. Fulani militia showed up. I don't like calling them herdsmen because they're not herdsmen. Herdsmen are people that actually guard their cows and feed and graze, without any violence. Farmers and herders are supposed to be working hand in hand. These are Fulani militias, strategically placed in Igbo land to buy the people. They did it with Ebonyi. Now, you see that governor over there in Ebonyi State, that new governor, the young guy, he's doing so much work in that state. He has revamped that state so much. Okay, I even heard he built a new radio station, as in the government radio station. He revamped it and everything so that the media can be in the forefront of what's going on in Ebonyi State. I know the former governor was very old and things. People lost their lives in that state. At least that's one governor doing well. What about Enugu? What about Imo? What about all these places? Imo State, I've told you guys, it's Fulani herdsmen running your state and buying you one by one. Who is next? They stick to the metropolitan area. Make it look like it's IPOB and ESN. Okay? And the army gives all this false information online. Yes, the army. When General Lagbacha died, I was the one that reported that he was secretly flown abroad and died, and they brought him home. The government announced, he died yesterday in Lagos. Just lies. When Abakari, the chief of staff, died during the Buhari administration, I was the one that told you this guy's been dead for COVID for 2 weeks. They did not announce till 2 weeks later. They delay everything. But here I am, I'm telling you everything, and some of you are still saying that, oh, I heard that you were a mad woman. I heard that you were mentally unstable. You heard, until you heard about your own. Bye. I hope you hear. If it happens to you, I don't pray for anybody to buy, but what's going on right now, if Igbos don't take charge of their communities, your communities are going to be toast. I'm telling you, by December 31st, there's going to be a major genocide. I hope you know what that means. Igbo people abroad, Igbo people in the diaspora, call your loved ones, secure your areas, give safety tips to people, let them know. Last month, it was the Igbo lady, the pregnant woman that was died in Imo State near the airport, Sambakwe Airport. The Nigerian mainstream media were reporting that, hoodlums went to Sambakwe and they raped a lady, pregnant woman. I had the video. I gave you guys the video. I gave you guys the photograph. She has a name. Every victim has a name. Their name must remain in the news forever. Their faces must remain in the news. 3 farmers killed yesterday, several injured. What are their names? That's why you're supposed to be giving us mainstream media. Everybody in the mainstream media is so fucked up in Nigeria because they're telling you what to report. This is why people direct themselves away from the mainstream media. This is why Fisaya Shoyombo is doing his own on that side. Even the David Hunter in Ghana is doing his own from that. Everybody's out of the mainstream media. Samuel Ogudupe is running his People's Gazette out of New York. Everybody has left that country. Every real journalist has left that country. I don't live in Nigeria anymore. Just like that, January 2023 is now about to turn to January 2025. 2 years and this country has not improved. And you're saying, President Tinubu. A lot of you confused me to some Kem. One lady there that was abusing Peter Obi throughout the campaign. It was not me. This stupid woman was just abusing Peter Obi and trying to shed it away so that people can be abusing me, say, but you helped Tinubu win. I did not help. It wasn't me. It was another lady. Her handle is Kem Patriot. And she now says that I'm directing people to come and insult her. All the posts she made against Peter Obi, it's out there. That wasn't me. President Tinubu's government is a fail. He's allowing Nigerians to die. He's allowing Nigerians to be buyed. And it should not be happening. What I want you to know, my safety tips for all Igbos. There are Fulani militia strategically placed in your communities. Be very careful. Women, do not go draw water anywhere in any stream alone. Okay? They're calling them herdsmen. They're not herdsmen. When I was in Port Harcourt prison, when they brought the herdsmen in, they sat them down in the office, and because I was one of the favorites in the prison, I could go to the office anytime I hang out. I sat there and I was asking some of them sitting on the ground, what are you here for? Where didn't carry you come? They said, oh, they catch me as herdsman. Well, are you a herdsman? And they'll go, oh, no, I know be herdsman. Now politician give me cow, make I walk inside bush. Now politician give you cow, make you walk inside bush. Nigerians, wake up. Things are happening. Don't be a victim. I'm Dr. Kemi. I've done a lot of work. I have no money to do anything. I'm always asking for donations, blah, 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 blah. One of these days, I wouldn't be here anymore. Everybody knows where they're going. You don't know when it's your time. But I'm giving you the message now. Don't allow this genocide to continue in Igbo land. Igbo people, secure your homeland.
If you are new to the channel, kindly like, share, subscribe, and please do not forget to hit the notification bell. Mr. Let's look at this recent development. A situation where don't want to deplete the Igbo region, because we know that Anyoma, that word Anyoma in the first place is Igbo language. And again, if you look at even the current senator representing Delta North in the National Assembly, that the Woko, he made it very clear that he's a little man. He's from Anyoma, and that Anyoma is the one he represented in the Senate. Woko Waikoli said, I am an Igbo man, you cannot count me out from the same Anyoma. Do you think the Edo is looking for too much? Because the other time we were stretching their hand to collect the market, part of Anyoma people.
Yes, it has been discovered that the Ibanki, is even older than the Benin Empire. The Igbo Empire has existed 3,500 BCE before the Benin and Oyo Empire came into existence. So the Igbos are the ancient people, and that is the truth. And there's this story that the Asian people are Benin, and there's this story too that Benin, the tribe called Benin in the Godomigodo, in the current Edo state, is made up of 4 or 5, 6 tribes, and inside that Benin there's Igbo tribe. So there's a lot of things before the system now came, the British system now came, and the balkanization of the Igbo agenda began, and the stabilization began, disintegration began. A lot of reforms was targeted and brought towards the North Empire of the Igbo kingdom as at that time. But what is surprising many at this point in time, is the Fulani, subtle political way they have been using to entirely make sure that they reduce the Igbo nation.
But let me even ask this question, because someone said that the Fulani have succeeded in capturing and subjugating the Hausa because all the leadership position in the north is Fulani, and apart from that, all the political position in the north, political class, Fulani are taking over, and this they seem to want to replicate in the south. And by extension, if they are using all these people who are apologists to the Fulani to start seeing how they can deplete the Igbo region, do you think the Igbos will accept it?
No, you see, they know that it's the red line, and the only way they can continue the Nigeria-Biafran war is by creating South-South, creating all manner of things, instigating all manner of segmentation, introducing Fulani, instructed, tailored, tutored governors, people as governors in the southeastern region, like opposite of the David Umahi, or Jesus Okalo. That's the meaning. Some of these governors you see, even in the south, we saw how the likes of, I said the Komodom, fell for the crumbs on the floor, simply because there is no south or southeasterner that is a relative of the crude oil, of the resources, of the oil block in the south. Everything is belongs to, So, and that who plays the piper dictates it on. So, and they have brought this thing to the issue of, original, where you come from, who is who, your culture, your tradition, to make sure that some of those things that seem to bring people together are totally balkanized. What is the Benin Empire? What is the Benin Kingdom? What is the Oba of Benin looking for in Anyoma? What is Oba of Benin looking for in Ibanki?
And the surprising thing is that they wanted to impose Enoge that is alien to the people on the people of Ibanki, and the people of Ibanki right from time know their traditional ruler as Eze, just as you can see in Anambra, in Imo, and any other southeastern part of the country.
Okay, yes, and that is why we are laying claim on Uromi and Asian people. They are Igbos. Of course, they are. Because you can see they speak different language too. But what I'm trying to say is that nobody is going to take away the old Eastern province has been dedicated, found and agreed by the earliest Portuguese explorers in Nigeria. Not this one British did. We know our boundaries. At any point in time you see a woman wearing two wrappers within that axis, those are Igbos. We cannot allow them to fall into any form of disintegration as the restoration of the entity that brought them together. Something has brought them together before the balkanization. That was when they say amalgamation. What was the amalgamation like? There has been already planned by the system to make sure that they destroy anything that has to do with Igbo civilization.
This even reminds me, there is a video going viral online. This time around, an Hausa man claiming Britain for the amalgamation of Nigeria. This Hausa man, surprisingly, is calling for regionalism in Nigeria. How does it come to him?
Yes, I would say that the Hausas have regained consciousness anyway, and if they are claiming they have, and let us see a revolution against the allies in their land, the Flanders. We want to see a revolution. We want to see them, the youth stand up and stop the killing. If their leaders cannot be able to stop that, but what are they trying to point at? What the guy is trying to point at is that what you see that is happening in the so-called South and Southeast, was a pure calculated an attempt to break the Igbo culture and unity. And that is why when I look at the lives of Asari, they put them, and I laugh, because the reality is, can you ever believe one day that an Hausa man will stand up and tell the whole world and tell the Fulanis in the north and even tell the Yorubas that what you people are doing is not correct? 2 years ago, you couldn't have imagined yourself hear this, but it's coming. The consciousness is awakening. People are beginning to understand that Nnamdi Kanu is a global figure. Nnamdi Kanu is a hero. Nnamdi Kanu is fearless. Without Nnamdi Kanu, imagine that consciousness wouldn't have been here today. And that is what we are extending to Oba of Benin. All the Benin kingdom is Igbo. Benin is tribe, is Igbo. Iwanke is Igbo. Isham is Igbo. Igbo is just the umbrella body. And I keep on asking, is there any country in this world that does not have minorities, ethnic minorities? If Igbo is a threat, why is it that the Benue people now are flooding the entire eastern region?
But okay, as a custom, some people are saying thanks to the man Nnamdi Kanu, who raised the consciousness in the mind of even the animal part of Igbos that actually this is a origin. Because even in the Ikore, we are seeing low voice telling the lies of Wike, we are Igbo. All thanks to Nnamdi Kanu. What is it?
That's why I tell you that about Wike, when it comes to Fulani conquering the entire eastern region politically, making sure that they are able to put a certain governor or a certain figure as governor who will be loyal to do their bid at the end of the day, because they have the resources, they have the wealth, they have the crude oil to control whatever they want to control at the end of the day. They have whatever it takes to stop whatever they want to stop at any particular time. That's the most important thing. As simple as that. So imagine where the person that somebody that's supposed to be third or fourth or thereabout becoming a governor, and he's saying that Abba Kyari made me governor. Imagine the situation. Now I can tell you that they can hardly point any governor in the entire eastern Nigeria, including Chukwuma Soludo, without Fulani hand inside.
Maybe that the situation of Imo State is a parallel situation, because parallel situation have been defined as the grab and run system. Maybe that is the situation of Imo State.
Whatever it is, but it is a very dangerous one for us to have political leadership in the entire eastern Nigeria, and nobody has the God to stand against the killing in the eastern part of the country. It is not a welcome development, and nobody is going to accept that. And that is why you see Nnamdi Kanu has become command and control. Even control the governors at the end of the day. And I can tell you, at the release of Nnamdi Kanu, you are going to see another level of approach to the issue that has to do with who we are, and what we can do at the end of the day.
Okay, now let us look at the man, Ojus Okalo. Of course, this is somebody who was privileged to govern Abia State for 8 years. And he have open camp of war. He talked about how he gave the lives of Obasanjo $1 million in 1999. He gave it 500 million naira. And this is a man who his identity is not questionable. We know that that for you to govern a state like Abia State, you must be someone from Abia State. But you look as if the man is denying his origin.
I think when he became governor, after he finished from University of Maiduguri, we remember that the former senior president, Lawan was his classmate. They all graduated, whatever, University of Maiduguri. There, I think to an extent, his mother was also somehow within the political circle. But he graduated. I want to.
But as an Igbo man, are you worried that he denies Igbo identity?
Of course, no, I don't, and I'm not worried. We know when Nnamdi Kanu becomes something else. When Nnamdi Kanu started behaving like Wike, we know when Nnamdi Kanu has surrendered his identity. We know all those things. We know that this is not Nnamdi Kanu we wish to know when he was governor, early first-time governor of Abia State. You understand? But sometime along the line, when he noticed that the source of his income, the source of his political career did not come from the people, it comes from the Fulani. That's where the problem is.
Or does it mean the zeal or Tinubu administration or ambition for 2027 are eating it up?
No, he's just pretending for the reality that hopefully that Tinubu is going to hand over the president to Igbo man come 2027. And even Tinubu is going to make that attempt, also Kanu will be the next person is going to hand over power to. You can see how funny also Kanu has been behaving recently. That puts you on the note that at what point did also Kanu get to this level of out of being himself completely, losing his identity, speaking against Igbo unity, making it very clearly that Obi is nothing to write home about, that he after all, that Igbo is not his identity and he's not a Biafran. I can tell you that it has its consequences. It has consequences.
Let me go ask you this question, because as at the last count, the Minister of Works, who was the former governor of Ebonyi State, made it clear that they will be having a summit very soon in the southeast to formally declare support for Tinubu in 2027. That they want to bring Obi to endorse Tinubu. Is this an answer to Obi?
No, because they underrated Obi in the past. They were part of the kangaroo that produced this evil administration we are in today. And of course, even at that, the Igbo man knows that, we don't need anybody to tell you that this person is capable. We know that Tinubu is not capable, and that is why we do not vote for him.
Let me even ask this question. If you look at the lives of Rotimi Amici, the lives of Asutan Bata, the current General President, the lives of Ato Okowa, the former governor of Delta State. These are people who are from the other side of the divide. Coming up body to say, yes, we are Igbo. And you have somebody who has governed Abia State for 8 years.
Please, when you look at these figures too, and that is what we are saying, are they independently made? Can they come out and say, I struggle like Peter B to become the governor and be what I am today? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself. We should not be looking at it from the angle they are decamping. Who made them governors? Who made them rich?
So you are saying they are stooge.
Fulani made them who they are, and when it's the time for them to pay back, they have to move. They don't get any option. And that's why I'm telling you that a lot of people are not seeing it, that the entire South and Southeast is under Fulani political conquest. And that is the truth. The only figure I am not seeing here in that circle is just Peter Obi.
So Peter Obi is the only one that will exemplify himself.
That is just outstanding. Are you going to talk about this man here? You know the role Atiku played when he was governor in this state? Atiku played a lot of roles. If you protect him,
let me go ask this question. You know your brother, the FCT minister from Ikode, are you worried that his evil entity himself as well is selfish about his evil entity?
The same factor, the same source. Questionably, who are they? Who met them? Remember how Wike killed Igbos in Obibo? Even when it became glaring that answers was a national issue. Hoping that at the end of the day, remember how Wike was running to Sokoto to meet Tambuwa? Remember how the same Wike was running to Benue Remember how the same weekend was running all over the entire north, donating 200 million, 500 million, 50 million. But he's killing Igbos in Ikwere and saying he's not Igbo. He's from Benin. Which side in Benin? Go and look at it too. Whether there's any. It's a Chima that founded the kingdom. Who is he before the Benin kingdom? We don't want to go there. I'll tell you that the same people, the same agenda. There's no two ways about it. What is the source of what Wike is celebrating today? It's the same people. Who are they using? No, Asani Dokubo and the rest of them, who are already supervising the destruction of their own land without benefiting no electricity in their communities. But they say they are billionaires, they are decamping, they are following these things. But they are bringing this thing conquest to us, they are bringing political conquest to us, and they are bringing this political conquest. The armed Fulanis are already in the bush, disaliving as many as they can. At the end of the day, those are the consequences that people are saying, it's a mere decamp, it's a mere political game. But what I am saying in Nigeria is no longer a political game. Imagine where we are having series of killings in the entire eastern Nigeria, and none of these governors can be able to come out openly. And bro, even if we are that, I said, condemn this thing, or even show at the scene of the killing to send a signal. None of them have done that, because the Fulani master will call them and ask them, who are you? What are you doing there? You are not going to be born again. And that is the end of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.